Cricbits and Pieces, and an expert panel. So hello and welcome to another episode of Cricbits and Pieces. We are back with the review of India versus Bangladesh match. A match where we saw a glitch in the matrix in first 7 overs is how I would want to describe it. But India finally could eventually pull off very important 2 points from that match. And that is the match that we will be discussing on this episode. As usual, welcoming our panel. Rohit bhai, welcome. And
Hello.
Rahul
Hi.
Parashar, welcome.
Thank you.
So that's the context. India versus Bangladesh. 2 points, very important 2 points for India. And with that context, opening up the floor. Anyone wants to take it away?
Rohit bhai, all yours.
7 overs was really very tough. And then after that, मतलब जब बारिश शुरू हो गई तो लगा कि भाई कुछ गड़बड़ नहीं हो जाए. I was looking at all the PNCs कि जिम्बाब्वे को हरा के कहाँ पहुंचेंगे, बाकी लोग कहाँ पहुंचेगा, तो really बहुत tough था वो period. But then Litton has scored runs against us earlier also. He's a good batsman. And सही मायने में जितने भी shots उसने खेले पहले 7 ओवर में, it were really authentic, true cricket shots. तो मतलब अगर न्यूट्रल बात किया जाए तो रियली वाज लविंग हिज बैटिंग, बट देन एक एज था, दिनेश कार्तिक से गिरा, एक आगे फॉल किया, तो वो भी थे. सो ऑल इन ऑल अ वेरी गुड मैच एंड आवर फील्डिंग वाज ग्रेट. मतलब आई वुड से द हाईलाइट ऑफ द डे वाज आवर फील्डिंग. वी took all the catches after once we came out of the break. And Rahul ne jo run out kiya, that was exceptional. There was no doubt about that. So, of course, we'll talk much more, but then initial comments would be that it was something that we escaped a jailbreak. That's the thing.
Yeah, I think from my perspective, Rahul coming back into form was the highlight. And we'll talk about India's batting, what went with our way and what didn't. But I think that first spell that Taskin Ahmed bowled, that was a really good spell. And the fact that Rahul was able to see that off and still be able to score runs, I think that all goes well. Because if you look at the rest of the bowling lineup, and I'm just going to quote a stat here. Bangladesh's 2 young fast bowlers, Hassan and Shariful, if I'm not butchering the names, 8 overs between them, we scored, I think, 100 odd runs, 100 plus runs between those 2 bowlers.
Yes.
And I think it's fair to say those are 2 young bowlers, so I don't want to be overly critical, obviously. But I think it'd be fair to say that those 2 fast bowlers wouldn't find themselves a spot in most teams playing in this World Cup. I don't think they were up to the mark. So the fact that our batsmen scored heavily against them, I mean, it's a good thing. But it still doesn't mean that our batting is looking, if you remember, go back to all the previous episodes that we've recorded, we've talked about how our batting has looked a little shaky. Us scoring 180 plus does not mean that our batting is out of the woods yet. But having said that, Rahul's 50 was against a quality spell by Taskin Ahmed, and he was able to see through it and still be able to get the runs, even if it was against a slightly weaker opposition, weaker bowling lineup. It augurs well for us for the rest of the tournament. So for me, that was the highlight. Rahul coming back into form.
Yeah, sure. Again, the very obvious points that I think everyone would agree. Fielding after that match against South Africa, it was important that the fielding stood up and got back to the standard that is expected from a team like India. Right, really good work. Rahul was exceptional. It was Rahul's day, all and all. Of course, it could have been Litton Das's day, but not to be. But Rahul coming back, of course, was something that was very important. But again, should this match have gone this close? Scoring 184. 184 is a good score. 184 is a match-winning score. In conditions in the that the match was played against the opposition that we were playing. So 184 ideally should have been enough, is what I feel. It should not have gone that close. But it only happened because of the inning that Litton Das played at the top, right? But where do you see it? is there something that the bowlers could have done differently to change that first 7 overs? Or do you see it was just one of those days and India did well to pull back the game from that situation?
I don't see a lot of things that we could have done differently. I think our bowlers did well. They just batted better. Right? To Rohit bhai's point, some of the shots that Litton played, like there's one shot that's kind of stuck around with me is he stepped out and hit Shami, I think, over covers. Now that's just a great shot. There's nothing the bowler can do about it. Right? So I think our bowlers did well. They just batted better in those first 7 overs. But Rohit bhai, what do you think?
I'll tell one thing. मेरे हिसाब से शायद एक चीज ये था कि एडिलेड के सरफेस पे फर्स्ट इनिंग का एवरेज स्कोर वाज 188. We scored around 184, 85. And I'll tell you one passage of play where Dinesh Karthik, Hardik Pandya and Axar Patel, इन तीनों लोगों ने शायद 18 बॉल में 19 या 20 रन कुछ इस तरह मारा है. मतलब that one passage of play, because आप लोग देखिए अश्विन का 6 बॉल पे 13 रन बहुत क्रूशियल हो गया. अगर वो नहीं मिलता तो शायद हम लोग 10 रन शॉर्ट हो जाते या 5 रन शॉर्ट हो जाते, and a lot of things could have happened. So
5 रन शॉट पे आएंगे थोड़ी देर में.
will come. But मेरा पॉइंट यहाँ पे एक बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट ये है कि जो पीपी भाई कह रहे हैं कि राहुल कमिंग बैक टू फॉर्म इज गुड बिकॉज बेसिकली हम लोग सूर्या और कोहली पे राइड कर रहे हैं. एंड रोहित इज नॉट मेकिंग अ लॉट ऑफ रन्स. नेदरलैंड के खिलाफ रन्स वेर नॉट दैट कन्विंसिंग. Hardik against Pakistan has made 40, but then again, it was a very labored inning. Karthik in all the 3 innings has flopped. I know he got run out yesterday, but then, of course, it will be taken as that only. Axar Patel hasn't done anything of, to be noticed. Run out ho gaya Pakistan ke khilaf bhi, kal bhi bahut jaldi chale gaye. So, one big problem is, again, that do we look at somebody who is outside and can do something really different? That is Rishabh Pant. Mera one point is that, and another thing is aap logon ne kaha ki could we have done something different? See, Litton Das, when he was scoring runs, first 6 overs mein we could have brought Axar Patel pehle. He bowled the 7th over. We could have brought him 1 over earlier also. I thought that he was brought into the 7th over into the attack, but Axar Patel could have been used slightly earlier. That is one thing that comes to my mind.
Right. So I have a point to make on Axar Patel. Right. Axar Patel का role अगर all-rounder का है, then he should bowl more. Or Axar Patel as a batter does not deserve a chance in this lineup. Right. When Rishabh Pant is sitting out, left-handed bhi hona bhi is also not the argument that favors in Akshar's way. Right. तो ये Axar का role क्या है? Are we keeping Axar just as a bank deposit? कि अगर Ashwin या any other bowler is having a bad day, then we get some overs out of Axar. But do we see them having? I mean, Ashwin की bowling में still yesterday also he gave around 19 runs in 2 overs, but he could have done better. Maybe, I don't know, against a weaker team, a little more economical spell is expected from Ashwin. But Ashwin बैट से मच मोर कंट्रीब्यूट कर पा रहा है अक्षर पटेल के कंपैरिजन में भी. एंड आई डोंट सी द वैल्यू दैट अक्षर इज एडिंग. आप अगर उससे 3-4 ओवर रेगुलरली करा रहे होते, एटलीस्ट 2-3 ओवर करा रहे होते, तो इट मेक सेंस कि यू आर स्टिकिंग विद अक्षर अगेन अगेन. ये कर रहा है, बैट से इज नॉट डन एनीथिंग, एंड आई डोंट थिंक ही विल बी एबल टू डू अ लॉट विद द बैट.
एग्जैक्टली.
And आप बोल में उसको मौका नहीं दे रहे हो, then what is the
I don't think Axar is equipped to contribute with the bat in these conditions. That's the challenge. And the other limit. Go ahead. Finish your thought.
नहीं आप बोलिए पहले. आप पहले complete करें.
Yeah, the other point that I wanted to make, just going back to what you mentioned, Rohit Sharma and Hardik Pandya, if you look at the way they got out, pretty much identical deliveries. Rising ball that they couldn't handle the bounce, right? And this is something that I've been mentioning over and over again. Hardik Pandya is not looking good so far. Every inning that he has played, he's not been able to handle the bounce. I would love to see a turnaround, but at this point of time, Hardik Pandya is playing as a fast bowler, which is fine. Because he's delivering with the ball. That's the value that he brings in. And for all we know, he might be able to, get a spark going, which turns the game on its head with the bat. But so far, everything that I have seen, I don't see him contributing much with the bat. given all the technical challenges that he's facing right now.
Just to add
He got
one
out playing
point,
he got out playing a nothing shot. That was the last point.
nothing short. Absolutely,
Exactly.
no doubt. But then, just to add one point for Axar Patel, and in his defense, the fact that the first 4 batsmen of Bangladesh, they were all lefties, did not do great service to him, because left arm spinner, and that's the reason that Litton Das break ke baad 7.2 pe out ho jata hai. But then Shakib comes, then Afif comes, and because of that, maybe he was being pushed, and after that there was a situation where we had all the 4 quicks and everybody had their quota available. So Ashwin was used. I would say, of course, I'm not defending Axar, but I'm also worried about Ashwin, because he was bowling to the left-handers, and yet yesterday also he got hit for 19 runs in 2 overs. So slightly, and Ashwin is a liability on the field. He is, fielding wise. Yesterday the thinking was कि अगर उसका over खत्म हो गया, why is he not going outside and let anybody else, Deepak Huda or anyone else, to come and field instead of him? That is the thing. So Ashwin also is not doing great. So again, last match against Zimbabwe, why not one match to Yuzvendra Chahal also? A left arm, leg spinner, big grounds. And I was just watching the match against South Africa. Even in this wet conditions, Shadab taking 2 wickets in the first over. And look at Rashid Khan, look at Adil Rashid. There is a good case that we should give one opportunity to Yuzvendra Chahal also. It would be
spot on. That's exactly the value that the leg spinner is a wrist spinner is gonna bring, which is on the big grounds with the additional bounce. वो देखने में लगता है कि मार खा रहा है, but at the end of the day वो outfield में फंसा लेगा. और टॉप एज लेके आउटफील्ड में फंसाएगा, वो कॉटन बोल्ट का अपॉर्चुनिटी बनाएगा, which is something that I feel wrist spinners will be able to get more out of the surfaces here, which, the evidence is showing. The performances, if we see across the board for the other teams, that evidence is showing. And I would love to see Chahal play. I would, in fact, play him above Axar Patel, because at this point of time, to what we were discussing, Axar Patel is not playing as an all-rounder in this team.
Yeah.
He's not a batsman.
Not at all. Agreed. Axar Patel is not playing as an all-rounder. Hardik Pandya is the all-rounder that we have, and he's not doing so well with the bat till now, right? Is what we are seeing. So अपने को और weak बनाने का क्या जरूरत है? We can have a pure batter or a pure bowler, whichever side of the game we want to strengthen further. But I have another question, which is more of a conceptual question, Rohit bhai. ये जो left armer को रोकने का प्रथा है against the left-handers और off spinner को देने का प्रथा है, I think that has been overrated now in T20, because T20 has changed.
100%.
अभी मोहम्मद नवाज किसी को भी फेंकेगा तो 16 रन खा जाएगा अगर उसको बैटिंग आती किसी भी हाथ से बैटिंग कर रहा हो, राइट? और सिमिलरली अगर केशव महाराज फेंकेगा तो नहीं मार खाएगा. It is more to do with the quality now. Left arm bowler को रोकने का I don't see a lot of point now. I don't see a lot of point.
Exactly. I mean, think about it. अगर मान लो जडेजा स्क्वाड में रहता तो ऐसा थोड़ी रहता कि जडेजा को मान लो इंजर्ड नहीं रहता, खेल रहा होता, तो ऐसा थोड़ी होता कि जडेजा को हम लोग रख रहे हैं क्योंकि बांग्लादेश के सामने से 4 लेफ्टी है. Jadeja would have still done well, right? So that's what you would expect from your international bowlers, especially if you're bringing somebody in for their skills to, because they're accurate. अक्षर पटेल के बारे में यही बोला जाता है ना, he's accurate. देखो टप्पे पे डालता है, लूप में एक डालता है, अच्छा आर्म बॉल है. How does it matter सामने righty या lefty है यार? After a point, it's a moot. After a certain point, it's a moot point. Right? You have to bowl him.
I'm not denying your means. आप लोगों के arguments को मैं deny नहीं कर रहा हूँ. This is an old concept, but the thing is that's the only thing that came to my mind. Because अगर आपका bowler एक ओवर में 6 रन दे रहा है, when the other 6 overs have given more than 60 runs or around 60, तो आप क्यों रोक रहे हो उसको? There can be only one point कि दोनों आपके सामने lefty है. Other than that, there was no other reason कि आपने अक्षर पटेल को bowling ही नहीं दिया.
Yes.
So
and maybe that is the thinking. That was the thinking. लेकिन but उस thinking का कोई मतलब है क्या? Is what I'm trying to understand अभी आप लोगों के हिसाब से.
I think if he's a good bowler, he'll take wickets of the lefty batsman also. So there is no sense in that. See, we have a luxury right now that Hardik Pandya is doing very good in one aspect, bowling. तो वहां से आपको 3-4 ओवर मिल जाता है. कर्टेल मैच में भी कल भी 3 ओवर निकाल दिया.
निकाल
अगर वो
देंगे।
नहीं होता तो इनवेरिएबली, हम तो हमेशा वर्ल्ड कप में विदाउट ऑलराउंडर्स गए, तो इनवेरिएबली अक्षर पटेल अपना बाकी 3 ओवर भी करता, कितना भी पिटा रहा होता. You just look at the thing. बांग्लादेश के साथ क्या हुआ? Shoriful had been hit for 24 runs in second over. Yet he bowled 2 more overs because बांग्लादेश के पास सिर्फ एक ऑप्शन था, Mosaddek, who was a spinner. So my only thing is, sometimes when you have a lot of options, you know, underestimate certain options of those. So I'll suggest कि देखिए, उसके 4 बॉल के बैटिंग से अच्छा है एक मैच में लेट्स ट्राई द लेग स्पिनर, ऑफ स्पिनर, लेग स्पिनर, Chahal and Ashwin, because most probably we are going to semi-finals. And in semi-finals, we need to be slightly more aggressive. जिसके खिलाफ भी खेले, most probably I think we will be playing against England, जैसा लग रहा है. I'm predicting. But I think if we are going to play against England, we need to be much more aggressive against them. I'm 2 मैच आगे का बोल रहा हूँ, but लेग स्पिनर को एक मैच ट्राई कर लीजिए. ऋषभ पंत को अगर ट्राई करना है तो यही मौका है. कहीं अगर जगह बन रहा है कार्तिक की जगह तो ऋषभ पंत, एंड 1 मैच Chahal for Axar. These are the 2 changes that I'll suggest for the Sunday's match against Zimbabwe.
And bear in mind that England is going to bring in their 2 spinners. Like even their part-time Livingston, he bowled decently.
He's a
Right?
decent.
In the match against New Zealand, he bowled pretty decently, and Adil Rashid has been bowling pretty well.
Adil Rashid.
So, yeah.
That's it. Again, so from India-Bangladesh match perspective, Rahul's coming back amongst run is a big plus for India, right? And everyone else, I think was consistently good or consistently mediocre or consistently bad that they have been. Like Surya and Kohli doing well with bat, something that is very consistent in the recent past. Ashwin is struggling while bowling, contributing a little with bat, being not so good fielder, consistent across the board. Dinesh Karthik not scoring runs, again consistent. Hardik doing well with ball, not so well with the bat, consistent. Rohit Sharma not scoring run is a big worry. His 50 against Netherlands was also very scratchy, not a 50 that you expect from someone like, I mean, someone as good as Rohit Sharma. Rohit Sharma वो चरस है जो बैट ट्रिप दे दे तो बहुत बुरा लगता है, राइट? तो वैसा बैटिंग हो गया था रोहित शर्मा का नीदरलैंड्स वाले
रोहित शर्मा
मैच
का स्पेशली यार, रोहित शर्मा को भी कैच भी गिरा था यार इस बार. तो उम्मीद जगा था कि साला कैच गिरा है, like something's going his way, maybe today he'll be able to turn the tide. But next ball में what was he doing? क्या कर रहा था यार? Like guided it straight to the hand of short point के हाथ में दे दिया, मतलब nothing short. And that's the part that bums me.
आधा शॉट खेल के it is, and Rohit Sharma's run. So the day people like Rohit Sharma and Rishabh Pant score, right, especially when we are setting up the total, right, these are the kind of runs which hurts the opponent in a large way, in a way that they don't come back from those runs, right? Rohit Sharma
Demoralizing. जब मारेगा तो demoralize कर देगा opposition को. But वही
और
ना,
अब वो
मार नहीं
चाहिए,
रहा है.
और अब वो चाहिए.
अब
हम लोग नहीं ले सकते ये सब रिस्क. आई मीन, कोहली चेस कर रहे हैं हम, कोहली है तो कोहली मैच निकाल देगा, इज व्हाट द कॉन्फिडेंस आई थिंक दैट एवरीवन हैज. तो कोहली का चेस करते समय में क्रीज में रहना इज गोइंग टू डिमोरलाइज अपोजिशन आल्सो, एंड दे नो कि भाई ये तो कहीं से भी निकाल देगा. दैट्स समथिंग दैट एवरीबॉडी नोज नाउ. सिमिलरली अगर शर्मा रन नहीं बनाएगा तो चाहिए अपने को वो रन, सब चाहिए. अभी शर्मा जो भी बचा के रखा है अभी वो चाहिए वो रन अगले 3 मैच में. होपफुली हम लोग 3 मैच खेलें और 3 मैच जीतेंगे अभी से, तो वो रन्स लाने होंगे कहीं ना कहीं से. Is how I see it. But any other? So I was trying to just summarize with the big pluses and minuses for India team as of now from this match.
The big plus is consistency of Surya and Kohli. Surya yesterday also was brilliant in the 30 odd runs that he scored. He was really good. And Kohli knows he has gone back to his original template. Start steadily and then score runs as quickly as possible later. And these two people have to be supported by other players. You cannot expect to win a World Cup by just 2 people or 2 batsmen, I would rather say. Lastly, thoda, matlab, I was really worried about, again, matlab, Bhuvneshwar has not got the wickets. That is another aspect that we need to look into, because people are saying कि वो प्रेशर क्रिएट कर रहे हैं, अर्शदीप को विकेट मिल रहा है, बट भुवनेश्वर डिड क्रिएट वन चांस, बट भुवनेश्वर ऑल्सो नीड्स टू गेट अ फ्यू विकेट्स बिकॉज इतना स्विंग होता है, एंड दैट मास्टर ऑफ स्विंग इज नॉट एबल टू गेट द विकेट्स इज समथिंग दैट हैज टू बी सीन. अदरवाइज एक चीज है, थोड़ा किस्मत का साथ दे दिया, अदरवाइज बहुत बुरी तरह फंस रहे थे, बहुत ज्यादा डर लग गया था. एंड आई थिंक इंडियंस वर आल्सो वरीड, द टीम वाज वरीड, एंड होपफुली नाउ दैट शुड नॉट हैपन अगेंस्ट जिम्बाब्वे. हम लोग वहां पे आसानी से जीत जाने चाहिए, दैट्स द थिंग.
We still haven't talked about the prospective 5-run penalty. I would like some input on that. I'm sure people would like some input on that. Rohit bhai, what are your thoughts on this? I have some opinions, but
I think if the umpires would have seen that, they would have awarded those 5 runs to Bangladesh. The fact of the matter is, the article, the law 41 something it is, they suggest that the umpires need to watch that, need to evaluate that. Was there any effort done to deceive the batsman? And I personally think, had any of the two umpires saw, because आपका बैट्समैन भी नहीं देखा, वो बाद में कमेंट कर रहा है. अगर वहां पे बैट्समैन भी देखता, दे माइट हैव टोल्ड, जस्ट कोहली जैसे बोलते हैं भाई नो बॉल क्यों नहीं दे रहे हो, दे वुड हैव अलर्टेड द अंपायर्स, बिकॉज इट वाज डेफिनेटली, आई पर्सनली थिंक इट वाज कोहली से थोड़ा बचकाना हरकत हो गई. उसमें कहीं बॉल नजदीक था नहीं, वो डिसीव करने की कोशिश की गई. And if anybody would have seen, I think 5 runs would have been awarded. So, but then if nobody saw, it's not cheating, because Bangladesh and Pakistani newspapers and media, they are like कि cheating कर जाते हैं ये लोग. नहीं भाई, cheating नहीं किए, आपका भी कोई नहीं देखा था, बाद में आप कमेंट कर रहे हो, तो that's a human error. And I think it was an error on part of Kohli also. Kohli कुछ ऐसा उससे अचीव नहीं कर रहा था कि डरा देंगे, वो लोग तो क्रीज में थे. हाँ, मजाक था.
It was just gamesmanship. Gamesmanship is the term I would use for it. जबरदस्ती ओवर एंड बियॉन्ड जाके जो इमोशनल हो जाता है जनता की, भाई बेईमानी कर दिया और 5 रन हम लोगों को मिलना चाहिए था. I don't think that was the case. Spot on, like the umpires took the call. And I think the broader question that the reason this is even a discussion is because the innuendos that are being thrown around is Indian Cricket Council was the term that I think Nurul Hassan that he used. So I think BCCI's belligerence, he dubbed ICC as Indian Cricket Council. I think that was the exact quote. I think BCCI's belligerence is something that is being thrown into this mix. Ki umpires sided with India because the BCCI, or at least that is the innuendo. At least that's the that's what people are hinting at.
Yeah.
I don't see a lot of merit to it. Like I don't think people like Mariah Erasmus, like experienced umpires, यार उनको यार कोई जाके bully थोड़ी कर देगा. So I don't think that is founded. But the only reason this is even a discussion topic is because BCCI historically has been painted as the bully, and which is why it gives talking points to people.
No,
that's the only thing that I would like to point out.
So the reason that you pointed out is true, but the other side of the story is that it was a Bangladesh team ka aadmi who was saying that. So Bangladesh ka apna koi, there is no stand that Bangladesh
can. ज़्यादा seriously नहीं लेना चाहिए इन statements को कि भाई आपने कह दिया तो इंडियन काउंसिल. भाई हमको तो लगता है कल हमारा सबसे ज्यादा मदद अगर कोई किया तो आपके मिडिल ऑर्डर बैट्समैन. भाई आपको मिला था 9 ओवर में 85 रन बनाने के लिए, आप वो नहीं बना पा रहे हो 10 विकेट होते हुए भी. आप बाकी किसी को क्यों ब्लेम कर रहे हो? दिस वे यू पीपल आर नेवर गोइंग टू विन मैचेस. आप स्केपगोट्स खोजते रह जाएंगे.
नहीं, अरे बांग्लादेश का बात सीरियसली नहीं रहेगा. स्पिरिट ऑफ द गेम या ये सब वो सब बिहेवियर उनसे घटिया किसी का नहीं है, ना उनके फैन से बेकार, ना उनके प्लेयर से बेकार. बहुत सिंपल सा बात है. एंड इफ एनीथिंग दैट वाज एन अंपायरिंग एरर वाज कि दिनेश कार्तिक रनआउट नहीं था. When ball hit the stump, it did not dislodge the bail.
There was enough doubt in there. Agreed.
The bail was not dislodged because ball hitting the stump. The bail was dislodged because the player hit it with his hand. बहुत clearly not out था. Similarly, it was very similar for Axar, पाकिस्तान वाले मैच में. वो भी एंगल सही नहीं मिल पाया, इसलिए पता ही नहीं चला. And as far as I remember, the benefit of doubt in a run-out dicey situation should always go to the batsman, but it did not.
अर्जित भाई, जस्ट टू ऐड टू योर पॉइंट, वन मोर थिंग. आपको नहीं लगता कि अंपायर्स को ज्यादा हड़बड़ में एक एंगल देख के तुरंत बोल दिए कि आउट है? भाई आप 2-4 एंगल और तो देख लो. मतलब यस्टरडे आल्सो बॉल पहले लगा तब बेल्स नहीं गया था. हाथ जब लगा तब बेल्स उठा था। मतलब पता नहीं क्यों हड़बड़ में थे। देखिए भाई, हम लोग भी अगर बोलना शुरू करें बहुत कुछ बोल सकते हैं, बट इन सब में नहीं जाना है हम लोगों को। वी आर विनिंग एंड आर, मतलब ये छोटा मोटा मैच तो हम लोग सोचते भी नहीं है। लेकिन हाँ, बांग्लादेश, टू द क्रेडिट ऑफ बांग्लादेश, एटलीस्ट दे हैव कम टू दैट पर्टिकुलर पोजीशन जहां वो हमारे साथ मैचेस को बड़ा क्लोज कर देते हैं। वेदर इट वाज द बैंगलोर मैच, और जो आपका पिछला 2016 वाला जब ऑस्ट्रेलिया में हुआ 15 द वर्ल्ड कप वाला मैच, तो दे आर मेकिंग इट क्लोज, सो क्रेडिट टू देम। एंड होप करेंगे ऐसा ही अच्छा मैच कराते रहे, वो लोग हारते रहे, और क्या है, बाकी तो कोई इशू नहीं है।
But there's one more thing that I don't think we've touched upon, which was Taskin Ahmed's spell. Anything on that, Rohit bhai? I think he bowled really, really well.
ब्रिलियंट ब्रिलियंट। सी
बहुत
आप लोग, मतलब पता नहीं आप लोग बांग्लादेश क्रिकेट को फॉलो कर रहे हैं या नहीं, मतलब मेरा तो इंटरनेशनल हर चीज फॉलो करने का आदत हो गया है। ताशकिन हैज ग्रोन इमेंसली। ही हैज थोड़ा, आप लोग देखिए, थोड़ा वेट पुट ऑन किया है। ही हैज बिल्ट, बॉडी थोड़ा सा बना है, स्पीड थोड़ा ज्यादा गया है। ही कैन बोल दोज 140s। यस्टरडे ऑल्सो 4 ओवर कंटिन्यूसली उसने बॉलिंग किया। इट वॉज नॉट एज की फोर्थ ओवर में एक भी बॉल खराब फेंक दिया। उसके 24 के 24 बॉल दे वर गुड।
Yeah.
एंड he was unlucky. Again, he was unlucky. He could have got 1 or 2 wickets easily. अपने दिन पे ले सकता है।
Yeah.
And not only this, I'll tell you, against other attacks also, Netherlands के खिलाफ जब खेल रहा था, he took wickets on the first 2 balls. Similarly, when he was playing against this South Africans, उसकी बॉलिंग ठीक थी, मतलब बाकियों के कंपैरिजन में। बिकॉज आपने कहा ना, बाकी 2 बॉलर्स टीम के बड़े रॉ हैं। मुस्तफिजुर was as good as ताशकिन, बट मुस्तफिजुर वापस फॉर्म में आ रहा है। एंड शकीब इज शकीब, ही विल गिव यू 4 टाइडी ओवर्स। सो बांग्लादेश नीड टू लुक इनटू थोड़ा अपना वो 1-2 पेसर और, बट ताशकिन लुक्स टू बी अ गुड प्रोस्पेक्ट फॉर देम, हु विल सर्व देम एटलीस्ट फॉर द नेक्स्ट 5-6 years. So that's a good point for them, no doubt about that.
Yes, I think we have covered all the points that we could think of from that match. Any closing 1 or 2 lines that you want to add, Rohit bhai?
Ali bhai, I think it's the high time now. Those who have not performed well, they need to contribute, and this should start from Rohit Sharma, because he being the captain, we have gone into this World Cup with a lot of preparations. We understand that Bumrah and Jadeja not being there is a big void, but then we should do good. Matlab, more or less we are in semi-finals, but we would like ourselves to be much more than that. And for that, the other 4-5 people who are not contributing, Sharma, Axar Patel, Dinesh Karthik, to a certain extent, Ashwin, all these people have to give their, slightly extra, नहीं तो थोड़ा modifications करिए जो लोग आपके bench पे बैठे हुए हैं. And I think one more thing I'll add here, most probably, Harshal Patel is not going to play any match until and unless there is any injury. So outside that, I don't think now that even this Huda should be seen anywhere. I don't think, of course, pitch would be there. But Pant and Chahal, please give them one opportunity against Zimbabwe, and let's see after that what happens.
Yeah, Rahul, Prashant.
100%. I think we are going in with the same playing 11, match in and match out, the same set of people, and we are not seeing the results. I think it's high time that we stop using hope as a strategy. Hope is not a strategy. It's about making the right choices. And Rishabh Pant and Yuzvendra Chahal, they need to come to the side.
Yeah, cool. So a close match that should not have been so, but it was what it was. And very important 2 points definitely for India. Some of the changes that I think a lot of people have the similar thoughts, whatever we discussed in terms of changes that we can see. But only point is that Rahul Dravid publicly backed KL Rahul a day before this game, and he came out really well. So hopefully something like that happens with Sharma. I mean, no one is doubting Sharma's place in the 11 at this point of time, but same thing happens with at least Karthik and Ashwin as well, if they back them and play them. Zimbabwe should be hopefully an easier match, with which we get a lot of confidence and go into semis much more prepared. So that is that. Wrapping this up with all of those thoughts. Thank you for active participation, Rohit bhai as usual, and Rahul Parashar. Keep
Thank you. Thank you.
watching. Please share your comments, whatever you want to see, whatever you thought. Your thoughts are on this match. Let us know by your comments. Thanks for tuning in. Bye-bye. Cricbits and Pieces, an unexpert panel.